People's Democratic Party has scheduled its convention, national convention, for the 28th to the 29th of March in Abuja after a federal high court ruling that nullified its previous convention held in November. Now, the court declared the earlier convention illegal for defying existing court orders and upheld the Abdul Rahman Mohammed-led caretaker committee as the party's only organized leadership until a lawful convention is conducted. Now, the party's National Executive Committee approved a timetable for ward, local government, and state congresses to be held in February and March, leading up to the national convention. It also extended the tenure of the caretaker committees at all levels until after the convention takes place. Now, for a discussion of developments within the PDP in the aftermath of the federal court ruling outlawing the Ibadan Convention, Abia chapter chairman of the party, Amah Abraham, joins us now. Thank you very much for joining us.
It's my pleasure to be with you, Cynthia. Good morning. Good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon. You're with Anieze and Cynthia. Both of us are here together. Thank you for joining us. I'll start my first question for you to bring all of us up to speed on the state of the PDP vis-a-vis these conventions and the optics around the fact that the last convention was essentially nullified. How should people be seeing the PDP right now?
Well, every organization, or I will want to start by saying that crisis management has become a very, very important and critical model for any organization, whether political organization, business organization. And these organizations are also expected to align themselves with the rules of engagement. Unfortunately for our party, last year, we saw a lot of challenges that resulted in several litigations in the courts because some of our broader members of the party, as distinguished as they are, decided to toe the line of lawlessness, disregard for the rule of law, and as a result, went ahead with a national convention against the ruling of two federal high courts in Abuja. Again, they went to court to also ask the court, a federal high court in Ibadan, to ask the court that, please, we want you to grant us an order of mandamus compelling INEC to recognize us. Now, when you look at it even outside the box of a legal personality, the question you ask, these are individuals who went to court, who went for a convention against the ruling of two federal high courts. And the same individual again approaching the federal high court to also ask the federal high court to recognize them. Unfortunately for them, the federal high court remains one in Nigeria, no matter where it is sitting. The federal high court made it very, very clear to them that it is not possible to recognize you after disobeying the orders of the court. And the federal high court went beyond that. They went beyond that by also stating that, of course, we recognize the acting National Committee National Working Committee members as represented by the leadership of Alhaji Abdul Rahman Mohammed as National Acting Chairman, and of course, distinguished Senator Emmanuel Ajanwo as the National Secretary. That they did, and of course, no organization, this is not a banana republic. You cannot jettison. We are now talking about 3 federal high court judgments. 2 saying don't go ahead, and one of them saying, since you decided to obey the high court, we cannot recognize you. Rather, these are the people we are recognizing. And now, of course, what happened yesterday at Abuja, very clearly, was the coming together of both the BOT and then NEC. They met because today they are legally recognized. The Abdul Rahman Mohammed-led National Working Committee is recognized by law. So they have gone ahead to set dates for congresses, outstanding congresses in some of the states which has not been conducted, and to be conducted within this month of February, and then thereafter also go ahead with National Convention, bill to come up between the 28th and 29th of March. That is where we are today.
All right, thank you so much for that breakdown. You mentioned something very crucial about crisis management being essential, and there's need for alignment for rules of engagement. Now, seeing what has played out in the PDP in recent times and as far back as last year with the mass defections, internal wranglings, excuse me, and the likes, you've given us a progress report about coming together of the BOT and NEC in Abuja yesterday. Can you tell us what is changing in the PDP regarding crisis management or resolutions to ensure that the PDP is still standing in the near future?
Well, the Abdul Rahman-led National Working Committee, Abdul Rahman Anyanwu-led National Working Committee, have always presented themselves as apostles of peace and diplomats. You recall very recently, sometime late last year, when the two parties were invited by INEC, and after the INEC meeting, that said they cannot recognize any of them until after any of the courts give judgment. When the Turaki-led people were talking, they were talking very arrogantly, as people who don't have respect for their fellow human being. But when it was time for the Abdul Rahman led at that time to speak, of course, the National Secretary spoke on their behalf in the person of Senator Anyanwu. He made it very, very clear, we are all brothers. We have to come back to the table to talk. And I am bringing this, this particular incident with what happened yesterday. Yesterday, it was made absolutely clear that the victory of the Ibadan High Court is that nobody is a loser. That is a victory for every member of PDP, and it's also a victory for the national, for every member of PDP and for democracy in Nigeria, and that nobody should be seen as a loser, and that everybody is invited to come on board for us to move this great platform forward. You recall that PDP is the only political party in Nigeria that has lasted since 1999. So it's very, very organic. There is no family in this country where we do not have a PDP member. So even as of now, we are not in the street boasting like people who say we have won you in the courts. What we have seen, we have been, the courts have played the role of a regulator under the circumstance. That is what the courts have done, and that is how we see it. We don't see them as, we don't see anybody as a loser. We are saying that the court have always said this is the way to go. And it is expected, of course, as a party that wants to take over government at any level in future, we are expected to follow the rule of law. We are not supposed to act against the rule of law. We are not supposed to be lawless. We are not supposed to disregard the judgment of the court. Some of us did it, and we find ourselves in this crisis by going on with a crisis, with a national convention, even at a time when the court said, "Don't do this," and even at a time when eminent personalities like the former Senate President, distinguished Senator Saraki, advise the leadership of the party that the way things are going, you cannot go ahead with any national convention. That the best thing to do is to sit down and come up with an acting management team that will hold a party pending when some of these issues. There was a reconciliation committee headed by the likes of the respected Chief Oyinola, and this committee also came up with a 10-point agenda. They said we cannot afford, the party cannot afford to go on with this convention, that we need to sit down, and all parties need to sit down and resolve this crisis. And the same people under the then Damagu-led National Working Committee jettisoned their own reconciliation commission because they were bent on going ahead. You know, there is this Yoruba adage that says that when you prepare amala, that if the people you prepare the amala are not available to eat the amala, that you should just gather people, let them come and eat, so that the amala will not be wasted. And of course, what happened, that is why what happened at the Ibadan convention have now been seen as a kind of an amala convention, because people spent money going ahead to do the wrong thing. And at a point in time, it was just like, we cannot spend this money for nothing. Let's just go ahead and do it, whatever comes out of it. And today, they have seen clearly that the regulator, that the chief compliance officer under this circumstance is saying that no, we are in charge of control, that we are in charge of regulation, that we cannot go this route, that the consequences of going this route is lamentable for us, for you as a political party, that this is the route to follow, and that you cannot be going to court to expect the court to protect you. At the same time, you are working against the interests of the court, that this is not allowed and must not be encouraged. And that is where everybody finds themselves. So we are appealing to everybody. I just listened to Governor Makinde calling people vagabond a few seconds ago. That level of executive recklessness I have never seen. You understand? After trying to plunge a party to a very deep crisis, a few weeks ago you were there at the villa begging on your knees for you to be given some kind of a leeway, recognition, and all the rest of them. You left that place with shame, and you are pretending that all is well, whereas you know that all is not well. So, but we are still calling on them. Let there be sanity in the midst of madness. We cannot continue with this level of madness. We cannot continue to disrespect the rule of law and the judgments of the court. We must be seen to do the right thing. And this is the time to do the right thing. And from yesterday, under the Abdul Rahman-led, Mohammed-led NWC, we are committed to toe the line of the rule of law and respect for everyone concerned.
Mr. Amah Abraham, thank you very much for joining us on Newsday to talk all things PDP and next steps moving forward.